Mhm. What's up, online nutrition coach community? So now we are up to our second speaker for the audience building and speaker series, audience building and lead generation speaker series. Wow. Okay. And it is one of my best friends in the world. And so I'm so excited. I picked her to talk to you guys, not just because she's my best friend, but because she is truly the expert in building your personal brand. This woman is the founder, the co-founder of BYOB Social, BYOB Agency. Yeah, she's an agency owner. She's the podcast host of Entrepreneur Rescue Mission. She co-founded Expert Authority, and she's the author of How to Build Your Personal Brand on Social Media book. I could think of no one else that can truly dive in and actually help you, guide you step by step in how to build your audience on social media while you build up your personal brand that just magnetizes those soulmate clients to you. So I'm going to stop talking and just hand it all over to my dear friend and amazing host for today, Nancy Evans Aaron. Nancy, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. And hello, everyone who is tuning in. I'm super, super happy to be here. So I'm actually going to share screen and go through a couple slides with you guys, because I don't know about you, but I'm a very visual person. I like colors and I like visuals. So I really want to emphasize today, right, the power and the importance of growing your personal brand. And it's so funny. I was eating my breakfast this morning and a YouTube video. I always watch YouTube like while I'm eating breakfast, and it popped up and it was Gary Vee. And he's like, "You are ridiculous if you're not building your personal brand," and it was like the whole message of the morning. So it's meant to be. I'm meant to be here talking to you guys, all about personal branding. So I'm going to actually hit screen share. All right. And Kate, you can let me know if you can see. Excellent. All right. Perfect. Now, can we communicate with peeps in the chat, or is it just going to be?
Yep, I'm monitoring the chat. So guys, comment away, be interactive with Nancy, and I'll share everything that you guys are saying.
Excellent. Excellent. So I'll ask some questions throughout, but we'll kind of keep cruising along. So I will kind of like take a look in the chat sporadically throughout the training. But again, right, the big focus today is building your personal brand online. Why? So you can build your audience of dream clients, right? We want people who are ready and excited, who know us, love us, and want to work with us, right? So Kate did a wonderful job. I'm not going to go through my intro again. Just moral of the story is this is my passion. Obviously, I am, just wrote my first book this year, which is How to Build Your Personal Brand on Social Media. It is something that I am so incredibly passionate about. And I've done so much research and so much work because, even if you aren't a business owner, I know you guys are nutrition coaches and, health and wellness industry, all kinds of things. Even if you weren't a coach, every single person in this world right now, I mean, it's just the way of the world. It is to your benefit to intentionally be building and focusing on your personal brand, especially on social media. Okay. So what is a personal brand, right? Let's get super basic. It's your reputation, right? How many of you, have either dated someone or have worked with someone or just wanted to learn a little bit more about someone? What do? Right? You go online and you Google that person. Okay. I know I did it with my husband, Scott. I Googled him and I wanted to know what kind of stuff he had out there. And it was really cool because, all of his business stuff came up and LinkedIn and so on and so forth. So your personal brand, I just want you to wipe that, don't even think personal brand, just think of your reputation, right? And you have the ability to control it. Okay. You have the ability how you show up online. You have the ability to really focus and hone in on your expertise and what it is that you do so that you start attracting the clients who are looking for you. Okay. So like I said, what happens, right? When someone's looking to hire you, they're going to search online. Okay. It is just what happens sequentially. The other reasons why we should focus on building our personal brand online is obviously visibility, right? We want to also establish credibility and trust, and we want to find clients. Okay. So, it's really, really important that we know, right? There's a rhyme to the reason. And it's also important to set yourself apart from the competition. Okay. I know the other thing that a lot of people say very often is, oh, well, there's so many coaches. Oh, there's so many people out there. It's saturated. Well, I can promise you guys, I've seen the behind the scenes of a lot of different businesses and I've been on both sides. Not a lot of people are doing it well. Okay. There's a lot of people who are all over the place. They're not clear on what it is that they do. They aren't specific on who they help. It is so confusing. And in fact, it was some crazy statistic I pulled up the other day. It was like over like 70% of small businesses fail at their social media because they don't clearly communicate what it is that they do. Right? We don't want people burning calories trying to figure out what the heck it is you do. Make it easy. Okay. So this is going to help everyone. All right. Again, I even actually am in the process of writing my book. I'm actually rewriting my book in another edition for students who are graduating college. Okay. Or even high school. And this helps everyone because, again, if we can control our reputation, if we can control how we are perceived, and this doesn't mean that we've got to be fluffy, fake people. No, it's how do we want to show up? How do we want to make sure that we're putting ourselves out there? And because you guys are health coaches and nutritional coaches and people who want to put yourselves out there in that way, there is a strategy, right? There are things that we can follow to make sure that you are clear and you are putting yourself out there in the right way. I threw this Gary Vee quote in there this morning because, again, right, that's what I stumbled upon whenever I was eating breakfast. Companies are spending millions of dollars on just like one TV ad to do what they could be doing on social media for free. Okay. And it was so funny because Gary was interviewing this company and they were like, well, you can't say that like, TV ads don't work and blah, 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 blah. Yes, they do. But if you could be over here posting and sharing and, showing up consistently on social media and not have to spend millions of dollars, which who out there, I mean, type a wire yes in the chat box if you have millions of dollars to spend on your coaching business marketing. I mean, really, come on. So some things that you want to think through, right? Because I am very much, and I talk about this in my book as well. I have a lot of exercises to help you really dig in and get clear, okay? Because clarity equals confidence equals sales, okay? A lot of times whenever I interact with coaches who are, really struggling, they're not closing sales, they're not growing their audience, it's because they're not even confident and they're not even clear on what it is that they do. So these are 5 questions that I typically ask, right? 5 questions, and we're going to go through actually each one. And I'm going to kind of dig into them a little bit more in depth as we go along. So a lot of people know Amy Porterfield. I actually use her as my example because Amy is an online marketing educator. She actually teaches a lot of different courses. She's been in the entrepreneurial space for a long time. So if you haven't heard of her, definitely check her out. She's amazing. But I use her as this example because I want to show you how Amy is showing up on social media and online. So question number 1, what do I want to be known for? Okay. Think about that, right? If you were hanging out with a friend and, they were to refer you to someone like, oh, you want to learn about this, you should go talk to, Amy, you should go talk to, Amanda, you should go talk to whatever. Think about the specific thing that you want to be known for, right? It should be easy for people to refer you. Okay. Not confusing, not, oh, I'm a nutrition coach that helps everyone and everybody. And there's nothing specialized. There's nothing nichey. There's nothing specific, meaning you're kind of like a jack of all trades. You're not going to be remembered in that aspect, right? You're going to be remembered if you are very specific and you are clear on what you want to be known for. Okay. And I actually have a really good example in just a minute, but I want to show you here again, right? So in Amy's Instagram, for example, in her I help statement here, she helps entrepreneurs build successful online businesses and profitable digital courses. In here, I also put a little screenshot. So this is from her website, right? She says in that statement exactly who she helps and what she does. Okay. So again, 2 very good examples of what she wants to be known for. Now, when I say make it easy for people to refer you, so we were working with a PR consultant. This was a couple years ago, and she told me, Nancy, it is so incredibly important, especially for people in the health industry, to niche down. And she said, here's a crazy example. So she went to this huge convention. And there were hundreds of personal trainers, nutrition coaches, health coaches, people in the wellness industry. She said she only remembered one person. And it was a woman that walked up to her and she said, "Hey, my name is, Kate, and I am, a coach who actually works with women who are looking to shave, 5 minutes off of their race time for, runs or whatever." And she goes, "Nancy, I remembered that woman because I actually hired her." She was so specific on who she helped, what she did. She was an expert in doing that. I hired her on the spot because it was a no-brainer. So make it easy for people to refer you. Now, that was a very super specific example. You don't have to get that specific, but I just want to show, and I kind of want to lean into the power of being clear on who it is that you help. Okay. Now, the next thing you want to think about is, who is my target audience? Okay. So again, right, Amy Porterfield is focusing on helping entrepreneurs. She also, if you look in, so this below here is the intro to her podcast episode. And it's what she shares every single time she has podcasts. She works with ambitious entrepreneurs or ones in the making, right? So probably early stage entrepreneurs. Is she really leaning into the entrepreneurs who are running like multi-million-dollar businesses and scale? No, no. She's being clear right here that she is helping entrepreneurs or early startup entrepreneurs. Okay. So think about who your audience is. Now, kind of layering it one little layer deeper, I want you guys to think about your niche market. Okay. And I know you're going to hear a lot of different coaches, a lot of different consultants, people like that saying niche, niche, niche. And you'll hear both sides of it. Oh, don't worry about niching, don't worry. Well, I'm here to tell you that you need a niche, right? When you market to everyone, you're marketing to no one. Okay. You are going to save a lot of time, energy, frustration, and so much more, whether it comes to creating services that people want, creating content, putting yourself out there. When you are just trying to be broad and help everyone, there is a lot more of an uphill battle that you're going to go up to actually separate yourself and make yourself, apart, set yourself apart from the competition. So when you're niching, you want to identify your overall market. So, right, you guys, obviously in this group are nutrition, health, and wellness. So you are in the health and wellness space, right? That's your market. Now, if we were to niche down, which niching can be, when we talk about niche market, it could be demographics, psychographics, it could be, certain, things within, and I'm going to actually give you guys some examples. But I want you guys to think about if we were to layer it down a little bit more. So we've got the health and wellness, nutrition, and how can we start to help specific people within that market? And then we can also talk a little bit about market research. So the disclaimer I always share is, don't be afraid of niching, right? Choosing the wrong niche is actually better than choosing no niche at all, right? That's from James Wedmore, who is actually Amy Porterfield's coach. I mean, it is so incredibly important to do the niching work. And even if you start a little bit higher up, meaning, right? Okay, everybody on here is pretty much health and wellness, right? Health, wellness, nutrition. Okay, done, right? There's the market. If we're to dig down a little bit deeper, okay, think about it this way, right? Instead of saying, I'm just a health advocate, you can dig a little bit deeper into a niche by saying, I help women prevent cancer through plant-based living. Or instead of saying just, I'm a health coach that works with everyone, I work with women who have hypothyroidism looking to improve their health and well-being. Okay. And there's lots of other different ways that you can do that. Okay. I even provided some additional examples for you guys. So as a nutrition or a health and wellness coach, how can you niche down? You could focus on athletes, right? We actually have a client in one of our programs. He's a personal trainer. He focuses on athletes. And recently he actually realized that within that segment, he's actually working with more and more and more, and actually loves to work with them, older athletes. So it's like a whole niche within itself, right? So yes, he's working with athletes, but now he's actually working with athletes who are over 50, right? So that's even more niche. Busy professionals, individuals with chronic health conditions, right? People with diabetes, autoimmune disorders, hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, Hashimoto's, right? I know me. So I have Hashimoto's. I don't want to work with just a regular nutrition coach. I want to work with someone who specializes in Hashimoto's. Why? because there are so many dietary restrictions. There are so many things, right? Gluten-free, dairy-free. I eat so particular that I would not want to hire a nutrition coach or a health coach who either doesn't have Hashimoto's or does not focus on Hashimoto's. Okay. Could focus on pregnant women, new moms, vegetarians, vegans, weight loss clients. Okay. So there's a lot of different market niches that you guys can drill down a little bit more. The other thing, if you're stuck here, think about your ideal client and think about your own interests, your experience, your expertise, right? A lot of times they say, put yourself in front of the mirror and rewind maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. What got you involved in health and wellness? What was your journey? What stage of life were you in? What industry were you in? What niche market would you be in if you were marketing to yourself? Think about those things. Who are you best able to serve? Okay. Who do you enjoy working with and who can you provide the most value? Okay. I run obviously a repurposing, content creation agency, right? So we work with a lot of different people. And when I first started the business, I really just focused on female entrepreneurs, right? Female business coaches. Since then, I've worked with so many female business coaches, but we've also shifted because over the years, we started helping a whole nother segment and a whole nother niche. And actually it's what our agency's been growing under that. And we help actually a lot of health insurance brokers. It is so much more fun being niche-y and being an agency that helps people with specific needs because number one, it's all the same realm, right? You're talking about the same stuff. And when you're able to really be hyper-focused within that niche, you become more of an expert. You become more of a results driver. You become someone who provides so much value because again, if I look at a nutrition coach over here, who's just like a nutrition coach, who's going to have to spend hours with me learning about, all the different things about Hashimoto's, and I'm going to have to, do a lot of the educating. Or over here, I'm going to hire a nutrition coach who is locked and loaded, knows all the ins and outs about Hashimoto's, already has a checklist, right? A shopping list, and maybe some recipes already queued up, right? So that's how I want you guys thinking. I am so sorry. And this is going to be a little tough love here. It is, if you are like refusing to niche and you are refusing to get specific on who you really want to help, you are leaving so much money on the table and you are also hurting the potential of what your business could be. Okay. So as we move along, right? So the third thing, whenever it comes to niching that you can also do within this, right, is, go on Google, search on YouTube, type in your niche. So if you guys are playing with maybe a certain niche, maybe you do want to go into nutrition coaching for, people with Hashimoto's, for example, type it in, right? See what comes up, see what other coaches are doing, see what other nutrition, health, and wellness experts are doing, right? If there's a lot of them, that's good. You know why that's good? Because it means that people are out there and have a need and are spending money on that. Okay. A lot of times when we have competition, it's a good thing. And you're going to have your own story. You're going to have your own connection point. You're going to have your own things that make you unique. So you can obviously differentiate yourself, but check out the competitors. If there's no one, that's what makes me a little nervous. All right. Now, am I against trailblazers, people who, forge new paths and things like that? Oh, yeah, absolutely. But we want to make sure that there are people out there who are going to pay for what it is that you provide. Okay. So you want to work smarter, not harder. All right. So I just want to revisit this again. What if I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur and I have multiple businesses and I want to do all the things? Guys, please use me as an example. There was a time when I was doing life coaching, business coaching, real estate. I was starting my agency and I was running a house cleaning business. And none of them, I think it was like the house cleaning business was the only thing that was successful. Do you want to know why? It's hard enough running one darn business. Okay. And I'm not going to curse, but I get so fired up at this. Let me be the example. Okay. Focus on one business, right? I talk to Kate all the time, right? Phases of entrepreneurship, right? Phase one, probably one of your biggest hurdle aside from learning curve and learning things is squirrel brain and staying focused. If you do not stay focused, you're not going to be successful. Stay focused, stay in your lane. Okay. I know Marie Forleo talks about multi-passion entrepreneur. It's awesome, but it's saved for later. You've got to earn your badges, your stripes. You've got to build the business foundations first. And you need to walk through what we call the valley of focus and say no to all those other amazing opportunities and collaborations and wonderful things and stay on that path. Okay. You want to stay there. You want to start with the one thing that you want to be known for. What can you write a book about? What could you start a podcast? What could you jump on stage and talk about for 15 minutes without even prepping? Okay. What is your special skill set? What is that niche? Who are those people that you are best able to help and serve? And if you don't know the answer to that question, after this training, after you get off this, I want you to sit and I want you to think about it. And I want you to come up with the answer to that, because if you don't know the answer to that and who you're best able to serve or help, it can't go forward, right? If we're confused, again, confusion equals no sales, confusion equals frustration, confusion equals overwhelm. We got to get clear, okay? And we got to start somewhere. It doesn't mean we can't change this later on, but we got to get in that car and we got to drive forward. Now, when you build and increase your awareness and your audience, and you start moving and grooving, that's when, again, like I said, later on, you can start to branch out. Now, I give this example, right, in the health and wellness, right? Let's say that's your overall market. Your services could include, a nutrition system, one-on-one coaching, a course related to health and wellness. Later on down the road, if you wanted to start incorporating other things, like let's say, I want to be a lifestyle influencer, or I want to travel, and now I want to have my own travel agency, you can start to integrate those things and still keep it tied to health and wellness, right? Here, example, right? Here's a picture of me in Italy, and here are my favorite healthy meal options, right? You can start to do those things, but you have got to park it for at least the first year, at least, right? In fact, Donald Miller, okay, and this is I love goal points and like milestones and tangibles. He says, okay, in order to really say that, yep, I've got a healthy list of people in my niche, he said the goal is 7,500 emails in that ideal niche. Okay. Now, that takes the average person, right, about 3 years, probably. Okay. Unless you're spending a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of whatever to grow that email list, right? That's going to, take a little while. And he said, yeah, it should take a little while. But that's what I want you to have in your mind as you're growing this list. When you grow a list of 7,500 people on your email list, you have people that you can market to, you can sell to, you can remarket to, you can open up different services, you can do workshops for, you can do so much. But think about it. How many people are in the US alone? How many people are in the world? There are millions and billions and billions of people. If you were to niche down and just focus on getting 7,500, let's say women with Hashimoto's, that's a pretty damn awesome list to market to, right? And it's so hyper-focused, which now means in your content, in your emails, in your newsletters, in everything, you are speaking directly to these people who are benefiting from what it is that you're putting out there. The curve of, the actual gap between them wanting to hire you and them going, I don't really know what they specialize in. They're kind of, all over, whatever, is way smaller, right? So if your audience is confused, I always go back to this. If your audience is confused about what you do and what you offer, equals no sales, right? What makes you special? What makes you the expert? Again, I go back to this. Right now, you have to write a book on a specific thing and to help a certain people. What is that book about? Okay. So hit your niche, stay focused and structured, pick your lane. Okay. And then you need to build the influence and the trust. Then you can transfer it and you can move on to other things. An example, I'm doing it now, right? For years and years and years, I've built my agency. I've worked with my husband and he's built and built and built his business. I'm finally actually starting my own YouTube channel. It's my personal channel. It's actually kind of a hobby, but I'm doing other things. I'm actually writing. I'm kind of branching out, but I'm doing that because we spent all this time building up everything that we had and focusing on our niche. So the third step, or the third question out of the 5 questions that I initially mentioned, right, is how do I describe myself and or my business simply? Okay, so here's an example from Amy Porterfield's website. Hi, I'm Amy. I teach business owners, educators, and entrepreneurs the profitable action steps for building a highly engaged email list, creating online training courses, and using online marketing strategies to sell with ease. Okay, so that's a nice little statement. It's actually a little exercise that I have in my book. I go over business statements and I even do elevator pitches. Like if you were to explain, at a network meeting, what it is that you do. Be clear. Okay. I keep going back to this, guys. Be clear on how you help people. Be clear on the benefits that you offer, the results you deliver. People pay for results. Okay. And especially as a coach, people aren't just hiring you, oh, because it seems like a fun thing to do. I just want to support, so and so on her journey. No, like people care about themselves. People want results. People want to feel better, look better, have more confidence. People want so many things. And there's so many things that with your coaching and your services, you can help them achieve. But if you don't know what that is, it's going to be really hard to sell what it is that you do. Okay. So what are some of the benefits that you offer? Okay. And I do this with all, my clients. I actually have them do a little sales page exercise, even with your own coaching. Go through like you're right now, like you're making your sales page and you're writing up all the features and all the wonderful things that come with someone coaching with you. You're taking someone from A to Z. What does that look like? Right? What's that transformation? So I really want you guys to think about those things. Some of the benefits of nutrition coaching: energy, productivity, health, well-being, confidence. Think about how that affects people in their life. When you feel better, when you look better, when you're able to feel confident about your nutrition decisions and what you're doing day in and day out, right? Because you're the health and wellness expert, how amazing it can be to start eating healthy. It's like night and day. Like when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I didn't realize that gluten and, some of these other things were making me so tired. I was literally on the couch by like 3 p.m. every day. I mean, before I even started eating different, I was so depressed. I was tired. When I started eating better, it was like a light switch flipped. It was a whole new life. I felt so much better, right? Less bloated. I felt more comfortable. I wanted to get out there. I wanted to do more sports. I wanted to do more activities. So think about all those wonderful, amazing benefits that you provide for people. And remember, people pay for results. So the fourth question is, why should someone buy from me versus someone else? Okay. So what I pulled up here is, Amy's podcast intro. So I love how transparent she is and she shares, right? She's had many failed attempts, lessons learned, right? She's taken years to build this business, right? I want to listen to her because she's been through the the rock tumbler of life and entrepreneurship. Also, she's got some street cred, right? Down here, it says featured in, right? That's on her website. Entrepreneur, Forbes, Mashable, so on and so forth, right? So even with you guys, let's say you're a new coach, there are different things that you can put out there that makes you a credible source. Okay. If you've never worked with, a client before, let's say you've really never worked with anybody. I do highly recommend sometimes people get pro bono clients, or they work with people at a lower or affordable rate. I know Kate would probably agree with me. Put the work in, get the results, right? Because when you're able to get the results, one, you build confidence in yourself. Number two, you get testimonials, right? So you get to actually share, you have case studies, and you can obviously share that with other people. So again, if we think about what people want, they want results. It's so much easier to share, things that you have done, testimonials, recommendations, case studies, street cred, featured in, right? Results. So that's another way, right? As you're building your personal brand and as you're showcasing things online, that you can really show up. You can post content. In fact, I always remind my clients, you got to share with people what it is that you do, right? I can't tell you how many coaches say, no one's hiring me. And then I go and I look at their social media and I'm like, nowhere in here does it say what it is that you do. And you haven't even posted what you do in the last, who knows? I even go on like Facebook pages, and in the section where it says where you work, right? If you don't have it listed, or you don't have like a Facebook business page with like your coaching business or whatever, how the heck do you think people are supposed to find that out? Don't make people burn calories to figure out how to work with you. All right. And then the fifth question is, how do I want people to feel when they consume my content? Okay. So when people come across your stuff, and as you're building your personal brand, are you lighthearted? Are you funny? Like, I'm goofy, I'm nerdy. I love, totally random stuff. In fact, I'm a huge proponent, and, Kate knows this. I absolutely love helping people show up as their authentic selves. Okay. Because that is what sets us apart. And that's really what attracts other people like us, right? To us. And when you put yourself out there in those ways, again, you're going to kind of repel some people and you're going to attract other people. But I don't know about you, but I want to attract people who have the same core values and are goofy just like me. I don't want to work with clients that are overly analytical, judgmental, nasty, mean, unkind, so on and so forth. So you want to put yourself out there and you want to be real. Okay. So in here, I just highlighted a couple spots where Amy, in the podcast intro, she just, again, is very transparent. She's like, you know what, guys, I share the raw and the real. I want you to know that I'm transparent, and, I'm going to tell you the truth. That is one reason why, out of all the entrepreneurs I've been following for years, I still always listen to Amy's podcast, because she'll get on there and she'll say, guys, I'm going through it right now. I'm actually really depressed. I had some crazy things happen. My launch didn't go as planned, and I appreciate it so much. Okay. So think about how you want people to feel when they consume your content. Okay. And just to kind of wrap up the slides, right? Next steps in this, because there's so much obviously that goes into building your personal brand, which I cover in my book, right? Okay. I've got a whole, book lined out with exercises and fill in the blanks and, ways for you to clearly communicate your message, help you dig into your niche, how you get started on social media, how do you optimize your platforms, right? Where you got to think about, right? When you're building your personal brand and when you're building your audience, where are they hanging out? You want to figure that out, and you want to stay focused. You want to create value-added content. You want to show up. You want to be consistent. Stop spreading yourself thin. Okay. Walk through this valley of focus. Engage, connect, nurture, help solve problems. Okay. I can't tell you how many people who have been in the health and wellness industry where, they've done things such as, pick 3 to 5 Facebook groups, right? That they, have their ideal clients are in. So let's say, for example, they go into a group with women who have Hashimoto's. And let's say you're a nutritional coach who helps people with Hashimoto's. You're not going in there and selling your stuff. You are engaging, connecting, and nurturing. That's all you're doing. People have questions all the time. Hey, what's a good thing to eat for lunch? Jump in there. Hey, I actually have a couple recommendations for you. Here you go. Okay. That's what you should be doing, right? Being natural and connecting with people. And literally just by doing those things and making sure that on the personal brand side of things and the optimizing your platform, when people go, you know what? Kate gives really good advice around nutrition, whatever. I wonder what she does. And they click on your profile. And if it says, yep, she works at this with health and wellness nutritional for Hashimoto's, peeps, click and let's go, right? And you take people on a journey. So that's kind of the end of this. Again, like I said, there's so much more to it. You guys definitely, I highly recommend checking out the book, which you talk to Kate, right? She might have a little special surprise waiting for you. But how to build your personal brand on social media was something that I was so passionate about, because guys, it is no longer an option. Right? If we're still talking about, hey, you got to get out there, you got to put some stuff on social media. If we're still having these conversations and you are repelling and you just don't want to do it, you are leaving so much potential on the table. Okay. You're leaving so much behind, because in this way of the world, right? We want attention. We want to get out there. We want to be visible, and we want to make sure that people are understanding what it is that you do. So I'm going to just stop share. So I saved some time at the end. I know we kind of went through that pretty quickly, but wanted to save some time for any Q&A, any questions that anyone had.
Yeah, so Sammy has a question, and this is a really,
Yeah.
really good one too. She said, what advice do you give someone who's rebranding?
Oh, excellent. Yeah. So rebranding. Now, if someone is rebranding, like, are you shifting your entire business focus and your services, or are you like, in what aspects are you rebranding?
So just in case Sammy's not here, because I know about her business.
Oh, no worries. Yeah.
Yeah, so she has been doing a lot of like vocal coaching, and she's talking a lot about like using your voice and finding your truth and finding your authentic voice. And she's trying to find, I'm like coming over here, like I have like multiple things playing. I know, right?
No worries.
But I know like she really is coming from, she's been a performer for a really long time.
Okay.
And she actually like has been a nutrition coach for performers, and she kind of migrated over into more of like the mindset and storytelling for performers. So she's still working with the same niche, but she's now working with them in a different way.
Yeah. So if you are rebranding, you're shifting over, I would highly recommend, right? Just like I mentioned, the exercises that I kind of go through, get clarity on your messaging. So if you know exactly how you're helping people, how you're working with people, you want to go through and make sure to communicate that across the board, right? So if you had a lot of stuff over here on social media that talked about something completely different you don't do anymore, make sure all your messaging lines up. So whether it's your little I help statement on Instagram, you go on LinkedIn, make sure that subheading, right, is, updated to reflect the changes. That's one thing I would say to focus on. The other thing too is I would revisit your vision, right? Your overall vision of your business. In fact, just very plain and simple. In fact, a lot of people who eventually down the line, like let's say this coach, what was her name again?
Sammy
Sammy.
Sabatterio.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. So I was going to say, for Sammy, let's say down the line, Sammy wants to actually start multiple businesses or other things. Just get clear on that vision, right? That overarching, like how you want to help and serve people. For me, like I said, my big vision is I want to help people show up authentically and real and honest and live a life, true to themselves and run businesses they love. And really, that's my big vision. Every single one of my businesses falls underneath of that. So just make sure that anywhere you're communicating that, and as far as a brand update, I would go across the board and just make sure that you're very clear. And also, just piggybacking off that, pretend you're your ideal client. Make sure it's not confusing. So if you were to put yourself on the other side of the screen, is it very clear on your website? Is it very clear on your social media? Is it very clear across the board what it is that you do now?
Thank you. And then Daniel said, like, he commented on the email list number that Donald Miller gave. It's like, oh, 750 sounds like a nice number. What if I have high email open rates, but no actions from emails? So high open rates, but nobody's taking action.
Yeah. I mean, so what specific action? Is it like, to book a call with you? Is it to, hire you for a specific service? Because what I would say is, right, for email, email is a great way to nurture people, right? And you might have people in your email list for years before they're even ready and willing to hire you. In fact, I always use that example with my husband. Like we have people who are like, oh yeah, I did your workshop like years ago. And they've been part of our email list for so many years. And then they decide, okay, well, I'm ready. I need some LinkedIn help or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and hire Scott. So people don't always take action right away in that standpoint. But I'd be curious to that question. What is it that you're offering? Kind of what is the journey that you're taking people on? What is that call to action? What does that look like? So there's a lot of questions I think I would dig in a little bit deeper, to that. It can look like a lot of different things, even giving another example with that is we're in the process of optimizing a sales funnel in one of our businesses right now. And we actually jumped on a call with our operations and we're literally going through every single email. And we're like, ooh, this one has like a not, that has good open rate, but the click through is not very good. So what can we do? So we went back and we took a look at the copy and we're like, all right, what can we adjust or what can we change? Is the offer still relevant? So on and so forth. So again, I would just kind of like take a look at whatever your call to action is, and see what the disconnect might be from there.
That's really good. I would love for you to hold up your book again, just for a moment. Yeah, just so everybody can see. So this is how to build your personal brand on social media. It's really awesome. It's actually set up as a workbook. I have it. And I wanted to show this to you guys so that you could find it. It's on Amazon. I might have it for you. I don't know. So maybe we can chat about that too. Also, Nancy, how can people find, follow, and connect with you? I know now you're here in the online nutrition coach community. I'll tag you here. And so for those of you who are not able to watch live and you're watching the replay, just if you've got questions, you can type them in the comments. You can tag Nancy. But how can our community find, follow, and stay connected with you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you can follow me at on Instagram at the BYB Agency. That's where you can kind of go. It's my guilty pleasure. I love using Instagram for scrolling and trolling and whatnot. So that's usually where I show up. But yeah, you can also connect with me on LinkedIn, just Nancy Evans, EVANS. I'm in the process of we're doing an entire rebrand ourselves. So my agency is bybagency.com. That is actually, that website I think is up and going. So it's out of construction. And then my husband and I have some things separately, but that's where you can find me, bybagency.com or on Instagram at the BYB Agency.
And coaches, I would really recommend that you do find, follow, and connect with these accounts so that you can see how this brand, this business brand connects with the personal brand and is developed, and how Nancy shows up as both herself and her business. I feel like watching her is going to be really beneficial for you too. Awesome. And make sure you're taking action, because watching's great. Action's better. All right. Awesome. Nancy, thank you so much. Coaches, we look forward to hearing what your biggest takeaways were. Drop them in the comments below. Show Nancy some love. Make sure you tag her, connect with her, and all the things. All right, coaches. Peace out, guys.
Bye-bye.